Hello, America. On this Friday, our foot is on the gas pedal all the way down. We don't slow down. Strangely enough, I watch this Buffalo football team from time to time. They're outstanding, the Buffalo Bills. They've always had a good franchise there, but they're really outstanding. How the hell do they play in this weather? Can you tell me, Rich, how do you play in this weather? I don't even know how you watch football at home on TV in this weather without freezing. Well, just incredible. I'm glad somebody's doing it, and it ain't me. All right, I want to make a suggestion to my beloved audience here. These hosts, these really loathsome nobodies, absolute nobodies, who continue to insist on referring to Hitler and so forth when talking about Donald Trump should be fired now. They should be removed. Enough is enough. I want to know why. Comcast tolerates Joy Reid. I want to know why ABC, that is Disney, tolerates Ana Navarro. These are stupid people. Navarro can barely speak English. She's an absolute POS. This Joy Reid is a hateful, vile, vicious bigot, and she has been for decades. Why do they keep promoting them? Why do they keep giving them platforms? I'm deadly serious about this. They should be fired. It's enough already. You keep referencing Hitler? That's not only horribly offensive to Jewish people and Holocaust survivors, but it is a grotesque act of blasphemy against Donald Trump. This dehumanization has got to stop, and the only way it stops is if these clowns, these court jesters, are removed from the public square. Now, I don't mind if they get a soapbox and they're on the corner on some street somewhere screaming their heads off, but I do mind the fact that corporations give them these platforms. Now, you can be tough. I'm tough. You can call people names. I call people names and so forth. But there's a line that you shouldn't keep crossing. And they cross it. They're dumbing down the whole idea of the Third Reich and what happened in the Holocaust. They're utterly unaffected by it. Their families are unaffected by it, but other people have been and are. We have vile, hateful anti-Semitism growing in the United States, growing in Canada, growing throughout Europe, at our universities and colleges, in our towns and cities. And these people are there. They're just throwing around the word Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. Is that what Disney wants? Is that what Comcast wants? Because that's what they're doing. They're feeding this. They're feeding it. Ana Navarro is feeding anti-Semitism and Jew hate. And so is Joy Reid. And they know it. And they know it by the way they use the word Hitler in reference to Donald Trump, in reference to his supporters. These people aren't smart. They're not profound. They're not intelligent. They have nothing worth listening to. And yet they're given these formats. You wouldn't want to sit down and have a meal with them. You wouldn't even want to talk to them. You'd turn your back and walk away from them. Does it not matter to these corporations the crap that they're putting out? Does it not matter at all? So here's Ana Navarro on The View today, and she ought to have her fat ass fired. Cut 13, go.
And also, just as, so he's it's not always been great people that have been on the cover of Time, right? It's been people like Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler and Khrushchev and Khomeini. So he's in that kind of company as well.
See what I mean? She thinks she's funny. Oh, and Obama, and I think Hillary Clinton. How about them? How about them, moron? I'm just sick of it. Aren't you sick of it? I don't know how this country ever heals. I don't mean we'll ever all be slobbering all over. That's not the way America works. But what's going on here? So much of it is fed by this media, by people like Ana Navarro and Joy Reid and their ilk. Just real low-level, stupid, moronic people. Then there's Joy Reid on MSNBC. It never ends with her. Never ends. Never ends. She ought to have her ass fired, too. Cut 14, go.
As Time magazine describes it, for 97 years, the editors of Time have been picking the person of the year, the individual who, for better or for worse, did the most to shape the world and the headlines over the past 12 months. In many years, that choice is a difficult one. In 2024, it was not. The key line, for better or for worse, is not much of a ringing endorsement, and we all know which one Trump falls under.
Okay.
And let's remember who else has been given this title in years past in the same category. Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Ayatollah Khomeini, and Vladimir Putin. In fact, Stalin won the distinction twice, just like Trump.
Martin Luther King, what about him? You're sick. You're a sick, nasty, hateful, cancerous individual. That's what you are. Grotesque. Absolutely grotesque. What you say, what's going on between your ears, almost identical, you and Navarro. Navarro probably plagiarized it from you, since you said this yesterday and she said it today. Aren't they clever, America? Aren't they clever? Hitler and Stalin, they were on the cover of the magazine. And, of course, Donald Trump falls into that category. For what? For what? What the hell did he do? What the hell did he do to deserve such comparisons? Absolutely nothing. Who did he kill? Who did he round up? Who did he throw in prison? Tell me. Tell me. How much longer are we going to put up with this crap? His supporters are neo-Nazis. He's Hitler. The only way this stops is if these damnable corporations put an end to it. As if Comcast says that's enough. Your ass is fired. Disney says enough. The View, her ass is fired. There needs to be some accountability. Some accountability. To constantly be using Hitler as a reference for Donald Trump. Now, there are people out there who embrace Hitler, who embrace what Hitler said, who embrace his objectives. We see them in the streets. We see them carrying swastikas. We know who they are. That's a legitimate reference. But to talk about the incoming president of the United States, who was the president of the United States, who's never done anything, that should even imply that he's a million miles within Hitler. And to constantly hear this banging of the drum, the hitting of the pots and pans from these screeching, moronic, low IQ dummies, enough is enough. What are you going to do about it, Comcast? We're going to spin this up. Fix it. What are you going to do about it, Disney? Fix it. Because this is not funny. This is deadly. They tried to assassinate Donald Trump twice. There's great fear that he make it to the inauguration. And you have people on TV making comments over and over again, and now after the election, that are so out of bounds, that cross every line. And you sit there, you dumb bastard executives, you sit there in your offices and you let it happen. This isn't about free speech. Navarro's free to say what she wants. Reid's free to say what she wants. You're not the government. It's about your platform. Your platform. You're using your platform to allow people to speak in ways that dehumanize the incoming president and clearly, more likely, subject him to the buffoons and the fools and the nuts who will harm him. How many more assassination attempts do we need? Anna Navarro and Joy Reid. They're nobodies. They're absolutely nobodies. They've accomplished nothing. They've said nothing important or profound. They've written nothing important or profound. It's not like they have some intelligent thing to say every time they open their mouth. Every time they open their mouths, They have stupid-ass things to say. You can have aggressive commentary from the left, from the right, whatever you want. But this has to stop. And the only way it stops is by these corporations that rely on your money, that rely on you, whether it's Comcast or Disney. That these corporations, that their boards of directors do something about it. The Constitution doesn't say a private company has to put people on the air or make the most outrageous, contemptible, hateful statements day in and day out, night after night. They have them on the air because they obviously want them on the air. Now you think about that next time you pay Disney 1 penny for anything, and think about that when your cable bill comes up for Comcast. And they just say it, no big deal, it's water off the back. They think they're funny. Funny. Nothing funny about it. These two clowns, I guarantee you they've never been to a concentration camp. I guarantee you they've never been to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. I guarantee you they've never seen a black and white film of what the hell happened at these Nazi camps. I guarantee you they don't give a crap about the Holocaust and the Third Reich, or they wouldn't keep talking the way that they're talking. There are people in this country who admire Hitler, who want to do what Hitler did, and they're marching in our streets. Damnable, Jew-hating, Hitlerians. But when you call Trump something like this, or throw him in this category, while you're relatively silent about the rest of them, you are sick. Now, these people who are head cases, who are unhinged, like Reid and Navarro, maybe they need to see psychiatrists or psychologists. Maybe they need a padded room. I don't know. Let them play it out in their own time and in their own way and in their own basement. But out of all the people you can choose to do a program on MSNBC, out of all the people you can choose to be on The View, to represent women, you can do a hell of a lot better than this. You're degrading women with these two people. You're degrading them. You're degrading your audience. You're degrading, period.